Hi, my name is Claire Elisabeth Elliott, or C, and I knew the psychic twins long before anyone knew them as psychics. On February 10th, 1990, I had begun chanting Nam-myoho-renge-kyo as an adult for the first time. These are the words you hear Terry and Linda chanting when they're trying to clear YouTubers' houses of ghosts. It sounds like this. I'm sure you recognize it when you hear it. Nam-myoho-renge-kyo, Nam-myoho-renge-kyo, Nam-myoho-renge-kyo. We were all members of NSA, which is now an organization known as SGI-USA. NSA, it stands for Nichiren Shoshu of America. So all Nichiren Shoshu members would say that NSA is Nichiren Shoshu. But really, it's SGI-USA, which stands for Soka Gakkai International-USA. The history of Nichiren Shoshu and SGI is a very long one, and I won't get into that in this video. The actress Vanessa Shaw and Orlando Bloom are members of SGI-USA, and so are Herbie Hancock and Patrick Duffy. Tina Turner used to be a member, and she even made a movie about chanting Nam-myoho-renge-kyo called What's Love Got to Do With It, that was produced by many fellow members. Back when I knew Terry and Linda, we all thought I was a brand new NSA member, and that was because I didn't yet remember that I was born into the practice on October 21st, 1965, a very long time ago. People born into the practice of Nam-myoho-renge-kyo are referred to as fortune babies. Like me, Vanessa Shaw is a fortune baby. A lot of people mistakenly think that she's the very first all-American fortune baby, but that's not true. I am the very first all-American fortune baby, born in 1965. But anyway, I always knew Terry better than Linda because Terry was my YWD district chief in Ocean Park District in Santa Monica. The YWD was a group of young women in SGI, well, back then it was NSA, who were between the age of about 18 and whatever age they decide to graduate into the women's division. You know, you'd think it would be around 30, right? But many young women wait until they're 40-something to graduate, like was the case with Terry and Linda. The twins had just moved from New York City to LA so that Linda could pursue a member named David Craig. The twins met David Craig in New York when he was visiting from Los Angeles about a year before I met them. They were leaders in New York, so it was no problem for Linda to arrange to be the YWD district chief in Marina District, the district that David was the men's division leader. By the way, when I met the twins, I was only 25, and Terry and Linda were about 2 years younger than David, so that means they were about 34. So in the year 2016, that makes them about 60 years old. I just looked them up, and they claim to be only 51 years old. Psychic twins aren't 51. I'm 51. Okay, maybe they're 61 years old because they just had a birth. They were born in December. So happy birthday, twins. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jameson twins. I mean, the psychic twins. Happy birthday to you. How old are you? How old are you? How old are you? How old are you? 61. And don't they look great? Of course, it's quite clear they've had some work done, but they still look great. Anyway, Linda was totally obsessed with David. That is all she ever chanted about back then. And then I came along in 1991. Because Terry was my YWD district chief, we became very good friends. In fact, it was her plan for me to replace her as district chief when she was promoted to chapter chief. But it was an inactive member who got the position instead. You may remember her. Her name is Jill Shively. The reason Jill got the position is because my chapter chief, Larry Shaw, arranged it. I met Larry Shaw all the way back in 1975 when I was 9 years old. That's a full year before Vanessa was ever born. Larry has always tried so very hard to keep me down so that everyone would believe that Vanessa, his daughter Vanessa, is the very first All-American Fortune baby, born in 1976. Wipe that. No, I'm the very first All-American Fortune baby born in 1965. By the way, Jill was not on San Vicente when that white SUV dashed through the red light in 1994. No. The person who was there, the person who was at that intersection was someone who successfully re-shakabuku'd me on February 10th, 1990. She's a proud member of Nichiren Shoshu. Re-shakabuku means reintroduced to Nichiren Buddhism, by the way. Anyway, this woman was high on crack at the time, and she was on her way to a business appointment, so of course she didn't want to come forward because she thought it would be really bad publicity for her business. And then Jill came forward instead. And that was a big surprise to her, believe me. I wonder how that was arranged. Another story for another video. So, getting back to the psychic twins, one evening when I was still rather new in the organization in Los Angeles, we were chanting together, with a group of YWD, and after we were done chanting, Terry and or Linda, I know it was Terry, I don't know if it was both Terry and Linda, but something was said, and I turned to them and said, "You're the psychic twins." I had thought whatever it was that they said was pretty intuitive, and that's why I teased them. I really was just teasing. It was a joke. But it was Linda who took it so very seriously. I remember her saying, "The psychic twins, that's good." But I really didn't think that they were psychic. I was just playing around. And I certainly didn't think that one day they'd make a whole career out of it. Back then, they were just comedians who supported themselves by working temp positions. They were not psychics. I was close friends with Terry, and she never told me that they were psychics. But when I was making this video, it finally occurred to me that perhaps they had to keep that a secret. You see, in our Nichiren Buddhist organization, all the leaders frown upon all psychics and psychic work and anything related to psychics. It's a Japanese, they come from, it's a Japanese organization, so, I guess the Japanese look down on psychics. But yeah, that never even occurred to me before I made this video. But now that I think of it that way, maybe that's why they didn't tell me they were psychics. I'm a psychic myself, and I've just always considered Terry to be very intuitive. But Linda, not so much. Terry is the more talented one. But again, Linda's psychic abilities might be totally blocked when it comes to me because I'm the YWD who got to go out with David. Yeah, David was my on and off again boyfriend for 5 entire years. From 1993 until I broke up with him for the final time in 1998. We even got married, unbeknownst to me, sometime in the summer of 1994 after David so brutally murdered my brand new husband, Ron Goldman. It was David's partner in crime, Michael Lafferman, a former member of SGI-USA, who nearly decapitated Nicole Brown Simpson. But that's a whole other story for another video. Every YWD wanted to go out with David. He was like our God. He was unattainable. He had some very serious intimacy issues, leading a certain LGBTQ YMD to think he was gay. Jill Shively's brother. And each one of us wanted to be David's goddess. Throughout my relationship with David, I was always staying at his house, so it was like we were living together without actually living together. We only officially lived together as boyfriend and girlfriend for about 5 months total, before I finally broke up with him for the last time in 1998. We remained best friends for 5 more years, until I permanently removed him from my life in 2003. When he had his stroke in 2009, I reconnected with him for a brief amount of time, and we stayed in touch for a couple years. But when I got married to Dean, I stopped my communication with David in 2014. During those 5 years that we were just friends, we lived together as on and off platonic roommates, sleeping in the same bed for 2 more years total. But Alan, David and I did not sleep in the same bed when I was living in my cottage in Glendale in 2000. I swear I made David sleep on the couch. Alan is now an SGI-USA district chief who is my ex-fiancé. Back then, he moved in with and married a brand new member instead of me, but that's another story altogether for another video. But getting back to the psychic twins, as I've said, I've never considered them to exactly be psychic, but I have been watching their videos and I admit I have been somewhat impressed at times. I know Linda got a lot of criticism for her reading of JonBenet Ramsey, but I thought it was quite spectacular. The only thing she missed was that David Craig was actually there. Really, the psychic twins have gotten so many things wrong when it comes to me. I could have told you that Hillary wasn't going to win because I won. Yeah, I ran for president and I voted for myself. It's a very long story for another video, but just know that Donald Trump is merely my stand-in. He may be president-elect, but he will never be president. It was always planned that I would be the very first woman president of the United States of America. Why the psychic twins can't see this is beyond me. I also was informed of 9/11 before it happened, but I don't attribute that prediction to my psychic ability. And if I knew about 9/11 before it happened, you better believe my cousin George W. Bush also knew. I also married Michael Jackson on my 18th birthday. I could tell you all about his death. And that story's not in the twins' book, Died Too Young. And I am an identical twin. So it's totally untrue that the psychic twins are the only psychic twins in the universe. Unlike Terry and Linda, my twin and I were separated at birth, not Earth. I have never ever met my twin, Chris. Her full name is Christina Megan Fields. And we were born triplets. Yeah, I unknowingly married my triplet brother in 1985. He's now known as Seraphim Boitel, and he lives in Japan with his new wife, Mako Otaki, and their son. I don't think that Chris has ever met Seraphim, but Chris has met me. To be continued. Thanks so much for watching this video. Many more videos are on the way. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you again.